A lot of PlayStation fans are still very confused by that PlayStation showcase that we just witnessed because it just feels like it wasn't as good as it could have been. Like, truly consider this. We know for a fact that PlayStation is working on a bunch of exclusives. Sony owns a lot of different studios that seem to be cooking up big AAA stuff and RPGs and games as a service things. Like, obviously we know about The Last of Us Factions multiplayer, and there's even been leaked gameplay for that weird Horizon Zero Dawn Monster Hunter style game. We know that Sony is busy, and yet they just chose not to show their own projects. But now there is a bunch of leaks that have been coming out today from some very good sources that are claiming that Sony actually is about to show off more stuff, maybe in a second PlayStation showcase or at a big event like Summer Games Fest. And I want to take a look at these leaks because I'm actually a bit frustrated about it. But let's actually discuss. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. So we're going to be going over this compilation of leaks from some very good leakers, people that actually have a very decent track record, that apparently claim Sony was holding back with the PlayStation showcase. Now, let's just be clear from the very start. The PlayStation showcase from a raw number standpoint was definitely a success. They racked up tens of millions of views. I do think that they stirred up a lot of conversation for Spider-Man 2, games that people didn't really know to be excited for, like Assassin's Creed Mirage. Some of the games they showed that I'd never even heard of, like Phantom Blade Zero, ended up actually grabbing my attention heavily. I just think that a lot of people were upset because there was a lot of just random CGI trailers that didn't show us actual gameplay. And, where's the stuff that PlayStation is doing? Like, all this third-party stuff that's coming to multi-plat. Like, where is the PlayStation games at the PlayStation showcase? Well, that's what's weird about this, is that now multiple industry insiders have reported that Sony was holding back at the PlayStation showcase. Their claims emerged online following the mixed response to the event, which of course did see, in my opinion, the amazing reveal of Spider-Man 2's combat and gooey suit Spider-Man, but a lot of people were specifically criticizing it for the lack of first-party exclusives. I feel like a lot of the anticipation and hype for this was built up because this was the first PlayStation showcase in 2 years. We expected a lot of build-up. I mean, if you've been blue-balling us for this freaking long and you're calling it a PlayStation showcase, not a state of play, I expect it to be banger after banger. This statement from Tom Henderson really struck my eye because he has a pretty much 100% track record. I don't know how this guy gets his information. I'm not sure what the heck he's doing or who he's paying or who he's smooching on, but this guy actually even leaked the PlayStation handheld before it got revealed here just a couple days ago. Tom Henderson, when it comes to PlayStation leaks, he knows what's up, and he basically said that there are multiple games that are pretty much ready, even though they weren't shown here. There's a lot of stuff that was yet to be treated with gameplay reveals and release dates. Now, the other big leaker is the Snitch. You guys may not know this guy, but he posts this really cringy photo here. But the Snitch, again, has a 100% track record. He has never been wrong. Because I think these people are either hacking databases or something, because what they're doing is not just guesses. They're not just alluding. A lot of times they're giving us concrete, exact information. So these people definitely, they're not your typical leakers. They are people that are just reporting stuff before it's public knowledge. And he says this: I know some announcements that were not announced during the showcase, and it's super, super weird. For example, a PC port which is coming in July. AAA? Yes. Now, the rumor is that this is probably for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I think there's already been some talks that that's coming out at some point this year, so that's probably what we're getting. But the frustration I have is the fact that as cool as this is, I'm glad that probably we're going to see more games soon. It's bizarre to me whenever companies are overly secretive. I mean, Nintendo does this as well. Like, obviously, there's a ton of leaks that were talking about the Metroid Prime remaster, and then it just randomly gets shadow dropped. I think something that frustrates me more and more about the gaming industry is this pointless veil of silence. Like, you cannot come out and talk about your game unless you have a proper tease, and then a trailer, and then a logo, and then a release date, and then a demo, and then the press tour. It's weird to me that I kind of wish that they could just come out and say, hey, we are PlayStation. We have 20 games coming out over the course of the next 2 years. Here's some things we're working on. They did that with stuff like the Dead Space remake, where they talked about the difficulty of remaking such a masterpiece. They showed us raw AI code and testing out different sound effects for the guns. And you know what? A lot of fans appreciated the transparency and passion for that. I guess I'm kind of annoyed about the fact that if these leaks are true, which everybody seems to think they are, why would Sony have a PlayStation showcase and not fill it up with PlayStation games? I feel like a lot of people are actually just debating stupid crap online. A lot of Sony haters are being like, oh, Spider-Man 2 looks like garbage. Oh my God, look, the water looks like garbage. I'll be honest. If they showed more games, I feel like people would not be having these stupid debates because they'd be talking about the games. Like this guy right here, oh, these splash effects look bad. Dreamwalker, buddy, touch grass. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, this game is going to kick ass. It's going to be 60 frames a second. It's going to win a bunch of awards. I only say that because, honestly, Insomniac drops a lot of great gems. But a lot of people are just saying, okay, if there is supposed to be multiple games that have yet to be revealed, where are they? We are supposedly getting some talks about maybe Naughty Dog showing up to Summer Games Fest on June 8th. I'm definitely tuning in to Summer Games Fest, and I'm, of course, going to stream it, and I'm excited for it. But I kind of wish that at least Sony would say something along those lines. I kind of wish that Sony would come out and say, hey, tune in to Summer Games Fest for more cool reveals. Maybe at this point, because of how badly received the PlayStation Showcase was, they're keeping their lips sealed. But even over on Reddit, which I think a lot of times is very pro-PlayStation, this is the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, a lot of people are just being like, okay, so it would be weird if Sony's biggest announcements or stuff they showed up at Summer Games Fest. A lot of people here even seem excited for this PC port, which is probably going to be Ghost of Tsushima and Ratchet and Clank. But this is the $1 million question. This is the $1 billion question. Why wouldn't you show them at the showcase? Sony, just talk to us. Just show us this stuff. If I had to actually spitball my most tinfoil hat theory and take this with 18 grains of salt, I think Sony is really preparing to drop a couple games as a service projects. And I think they're trying to be very delicate how they do that. There's been a lot of discussion from Sony themselves about trying to make, I think their number is like 10 or 12 games as a service projects over the course of the next 4 years. So let's assume that means that we're going to get 3 a year. Okay, so we're probably going to get Last of Us Factions this year. We're probably going to get that Horizon Forbidden West Monster Hunter thing we've already seen leaked. What comes after that? I think my consideration, my thought is that I wonder if they're trying to properly attune themselves to go, okay, how do we market this? How do we blend in our classic games, the big AAA story-focused adventures like God of War Ragnarok and The Last of Us? How do we sprinkle that in with games as a service stuff? I do think that Sony is very much trying to temper and space things out. But honestly, this is something I have criticized Sony about in the past, years ago. The silence to me is not just ineffective, it's boring. I feel weird saying this. I am very excited for the Xbox showcase right now, which is coming up on June 11th, simply because I'm curious what the heck Xbox has been up to. Phil Spencer's out here pounding his chest talking about the future of Game Pass. I want to see more than just Starfield. I want to see Hellblade 2. I want to see Avowed. I want to see Forza Motorsport actually get a release date. I want to hear these numbers. I want to hear that hype stack up. Sony, you guys are killing it when it comes to sales. I think the games you release for the most part are absolute freaking bangers. I know we just got the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC, which was a masterpiece, but come on. We cannot just be getting Spider-Man this year. There has to be something. If Spider-Man is it, I mean, that's not going to be very good to me. We'll see. There must be something else out there. Final Fantasy 16, third-party exclusive. That's going to be legit. I'm excited for that. But Sony, just tell us, what are you cooking? Okay, but these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts. Please tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. Man, I'm ready for Summer Games Fest just because, I mean, let's just see what's actually going on. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.